that are new here, let me introduce myself very quickly. My name is Big Jano. I'm an engineer by day, but by night, I like the game, I like to 3D print and create awesomeness here on Twitch a few nights a week. Frozone. Is that my nickname now, the Frozone? Come for the model building, stay for the ASMR. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody. Great to see everybody here. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing, chat? Let me see the hype in chat right now for the start of the stream. Let's get the hype going. Welcome on in, everybody. Great to see everybody here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday night or Wednesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, depending on where you are streaming from, or sorry, watching from. Welcome on in. Glad you guys are here. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let me introduce myself to those that are new here. My name is Big Jano. I'm an engineer by day, but by night, I like the game, I like to 3D print, and create awesomeness here on Twitch a few nights a week. Hey, Jan, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Welcome in. Tonight's going to be a very... We had all sorts of fun last month with the Halloween prints we did. We had so many different Halloween prints. We were doing a lot of spooky stuff. We did our tombstones, which you can kind of see here. We still have one displayed. We did our fun little 3D printing tombstones in various colors. We modeled these up all month last month. We also did some awesome 3D prints from all sorts of cool designers. But now it's November. It's November 1st, which means the spooky season has officially ended. And we are moving on into what everyone is waiting for, is the... we're going to be starting talking about our big holiday project that'll probably take up the next month or two. At least my plan is to kind of take this into the end of the year type thing. And it's also we'll be talking about what we have coming up here on the streams, and then we're also kicking off November with let me see if I can. Do I have one over here? I don't. Let me go grab one real quick. This one. There we go. Oh, really nice intro I have now. Thank you. Yeah, we've done a little bit of upkeep on the stream, so not so much, but yeah, we have the little intro video now. We've had that for a few months. Back earlier this year, we had I took a month off of streaming just to kind of refresh the overlays, do a little bit of add some production value, add some fun things to the stream. So I'm glad you like it. I really do. But it is November, and we are kicking off this month with our good friend Mr. Benchy. And by Benchy, we're kicking off No Benchy November, where I cannot print any of these fun things for the whole month of November. So this will be the first and last time you guys will see one of these here on the stream this month. Other than the hype emote is an exception. That's the only exception to the rule. That's not going anywhere. Hey, 3D Mag Vince, welcome in. Billers Mark, hello. But yeah, so anytime I get new filament in the next month, anytime I need to test a print, I'm gonna have to find a new test print for the next month because we're doing no benchy November. And yes, I know it's not a thing, but we're making it a thing. And I know I'm not going to destroy this benchy in solidarity, but I was trying to think of something like fun to do for this month. I'm like trying now to kind of think of different things to do every month here on the stream besides bigger projects, I would say. But and no benchy November kind of just came to me. Like, I know they do no shave November, so I figured let's do a little fun take on that. So if we do print anything, it will not be a benchy for the whole month. I don't know how I'm going to contain myself. Just looking at this beautiful thing is already making me question the whole operation here. It's gonna make me question the whole thing, but we'll get through it together because you know what, we can make it a whole month. I believe in us. I believe in you. We can do it. If for some reason I do print a benchy, I'll have to think of like a punishment, but for now, until December 1st, there will be no benchies printed. So tonight, we're gonna be doing a few things. First and foremost, I've updated and tweaked my PETG profile for the Delta printer. And I'm printing right now some of the K2 design clips, which I can see right now don't look as good as I'm wanting them to. I started the print right before I hit go live. I'm trying to see if this new profile is going to work. I still think my first couple layers are not great. I think, oh yeah, that one's not looking good. I'll have to fix that. I'm printing some filament clips that were designed from K2 Kevin. Let me see if I can pull up the link to that real quick. For those that are wondering, I'll copy and paste the link in the chat so you guys can take a look at this yourself. But I'm printing a few of these clips because I figured, I wanted some of these clips, and I figured PETG would be good for these to print and trap the new profile. They're small, they're not too big, so that's what I'm printing right now on the Delta printer. Let me go back to that, and let me go back to that. There we go. Yeah, so we're still printing with the IC3D, the red PETG. I might have to start this over. It looks like it's still going a little too fast, which is kind of weird considering, you know, this is the profile I've used for a lot of my other PETG parts that hasn't had an issue since then. Hooray, no benchies. Yes, you get your month off, Biller's Mark, of benchies. I still get to throw around the hype benchy whenever I want. That is the only exception to the rule. But yeah, we're gonna go the whole month without printing a benchy. We're gonna try. We're going to try to print a benchy. We're gonna try not to print a benchy this whole month. And that's gonna be tough because there's a couple new filaments I want to try that I really want to print a benchy with, but I can't. But yeah, we're printing the K2 Kevin clips right now. I might have to start these over. Let me go take a look at this real quick, because I'm thinking one of them they don't look as clean as I would like. Yeah, they're not looking good. You guys can kind of see it's like I think they're just still going too fast. I think they're still going too fast, which is weird. But anyway, I'm going to keep the bed heated. I'm going to reslice this and see if we can't get these printed. So I'd like to print something in PETG on this machine. I'm not giving up on that. All right, give me 1 second here so I can pull up Cura. There we go. I also have my other printer heated up and ready to go. We are going to print on the Mega X tonight. We're going to try to get that back up and running with some. I'm trying to do another test print or two on there before I start diving back onto that machine. But this is what I had on the build plate for the Delta, and I'm trying to figure out. I added cooling on the fan after like layer 3. And I think my speeds are just still too much. Let me go back to this PETG profile because I don't know what's different about that one versus. Okay, so 6.5, 3 walls, 20% infill. I'm gonna bump you up to like 50 maybe. 50 infill should be fine for these. You know, the travel has to be kind of fast on these because I don't want blobs of filament to like cake onto the next one when it travels. But it also like doesn't. I don't know if it's a Delta printer issue, but it's like the Z hop on here doesn't really do much. But let's see, 240. I'm gonna keep that at 240 because that's what it should. That's what my temperatures haven't really been a problem. Adhesion was fine on the first layer. Yeah, this is not. That's way too fast. That's why I'm going back to this one. That's why. I think I took my PLA profile and tweaked it. That's why I was so slow. I'm going to bump this down from 40 to. Yeah, maybe that's why. That's pretty fast for PETG. Let me bump that down to 30. Infill, I'm going to go down to 35. Inner wall, I'm going to go to 35. Outer wall, I'm going to go 30. Travel speed, 130. Initial layer speed is 30. I'm going to bump that down to 20. I thought I had 20, but I could be wrong. Retraction. I need a little bit of retraction. I'm pretty sure this is the same. I have 4 millimeters, 30 millimeters per second. I think that's kind of what I have on my Mega X, but I take that back. It's not what I have on my Mega X. Because it's a volcano hot end, actually probably needs to be a little bit less. I don't know if I should shorten the retraction distance or speed up the retraction speed. Like bump that up to 40. I'm not sure if it's the... I might try bumping the speed up just a tad. Let's go to 40. I'm gonna bump the Z hop to 08. Cooling. Initial fan 0. Regular fan speed. I'm gonna do 30% at layer 3. Skirt's not the problem. It looks like it just doesn't lay the layer down clean. And I don't know if it's just because if it's still printing too fast. That could be the issue. I don't know. We're gonna tweak this and try it out and see. Try it out. Worst case is we tweak it again. But I am going to resave this so I'd have this profile here. I'm gonna make a new profile again. Create profile from that. I'm just gonna call this newest number. I'm gonna call this 3.0. Just so I'm not going back and doing this again. I should probably delete the the other two PETG profiles here, which I will. Hey, No More, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Is everything sitting down the build plate correctly in Slicer? It should be. Everything's... Everything should be. I see there's like some chamfered edges on these clips, which might be just because they're so tiny, they might be, those overhangs might just be part of the issue. So if I go ahead and slice this. Again? What do you mean again, Otter Standard then? This is just called research and development. This is just called trial and error. Let's see. So first layer looks like that. There we go. Second layer. I mean, it do look like it fans out a little bit, but nothing too crazy there. Everything looks to be and maybe just because they're tiny. I come in here and see these clips. I didn't print these clips. This is the first time we're printing these, actually, Otters, Danger Den. But yeah, they are all over the place. I know other people are printing them. I'm more or less, I'm printing them because I want a few of these because I've been wanting to print these for a minute. And this gives me a chance to use this to tweak my PETG profile on the Delta here. And that's what we're kind of doing. At least for now, we're going to try to do that. I'm going to get this on the printer. We're going to talk about the holiday project we have coming up here after I'm done with that. And we're also going to maybe get a test print on the Mega X for the hot end after tightening that down. And we're going to try some new filament tonight. At least that's my plan. Hey, what's your question? Trying to get my printer to print dual colors. I sliced it in a Prusa slicer and it's not stopping the print to switch filaments. I don't know what printer I think you said you have an Ender, like an Ender 3. I'm not sure. I know my Anycubic has the same issue with that. The stock firmware is not going to it's not going to have that N600 command enabled in the firmware. The only way I was able to get that, like the pause at a certain layer to change color effect enabled, was to switch to some community firmware that someone else made. But the stock firmware on my machine didn't have that M600 enabled. I'm not sure. I don't have a good grasp on the Creality printers, so I don't know if there's a way you could do that without having to switch firmware. I'm sure if someone here has a Creality Ender Pro, that might be able to answer that. But yeah, it doesn't come stock, so anytime you try to change color, it's just gonna skip it. I've had that happen too. It's kind of frustrating. Yeah, you could stop it manually. That's kind of the way I would do it if you didn't switch the firmware on it. But yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like it should be enabled in its basic Marlin firmware. I don't know why it's not. These companies don't understand that we like stuff like that. Working on business cards via app. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. The only way I would think, or you could get like a paint marker and just paint marker it in. I guess that's another option. That's might be a little less stressful, but yeah, I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I know a lot of people have had that complaint where they can't swap colors with the stock firmware, but I feel like that has to be a firmware change in order for that to get in effect. At least that's how I did it on my Anycubic printer. So I'd assume that'd be pretty similar process. Tried the paint markers, they made a mess. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the route I would have went on, but I would also suggest maybe try like a 3D pen, but the 3D pen's not really accurate and it looks kind of sloppy if you're not careful. So, yeah, I'm gonna I'll think about that a little bit more. But yeah, the first thing off the top of my head would be having to change firmware so it actually lets you enable that command into your slicer. But unfortunately, it is it's one of those things that just doesn't get enabled, and I don't know why. And it's Marlin, so you get to attempt to compile the gorilla. Exactly. I'll stick to the 50% stop at this point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess if you know where the halfway point on your print is, like the halfway time, you could stop it manually. You just gotta. The only downside is you have to watch a printer. And working on business cards, I can imagine that you want to print a bunch of them in a short amount of time, so you can't be up like trying to wait for it to get to the right point to print, and that's unfortunate. But if I figure out anything else about solutions to that, I'll let you know, because that's, like I said, I had that issue. I got around it by switching firmwares on the printer. I don't run stock firmware on this machine anymore, so that's kind of the only reason why I'm able to do so. And for what I haven't even, and the sad thing is I haven't even used it that much with the color swap, but it has some other features and functionalities that I use it way much more for, in terms of like safety enabled. You know, the safety features are actually enabled, and temperature settings and stuff like that. So let me put this card back into the printer here. Let me put that camera back on. Let's get the card in there. Let's get this scraped off. These are flying and all over the belt. Trying not to touch the bed so I don't get grease on the bed. Wipe down the bed real quick. Alright, let's try it now. Let's see how bad this does. Takes 1 hour and 20 to reach 50%. Okay. You're going to take the painted ones that draw frame around with fancy 2 colors for app. Okay. Yeah, I would have to believe there's some other workarounds. But I'm not, I would say I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to the firmware side of things. I know there's a lot of other people in the community that have a lot more firmware knowledge than I do, especially those that actually worked on Marlin and the firmwares that a lot of the printers we see today are using. See, that does not look like 20 millimeters per second on that first layer. That does not look like 20 millimeters per second on that first layer. Not even close. I keep forgetting IAPA is in like 2 weeks, which is crazy. It's that time of year again. I'm also surprised they haven't announced any. I don't think the TEA has announced like a mixer yet for that week, which is surprising because that's, like I said, 2 weeks away. And yeah, I'm gonna slow this down a little bit more. I set it to 20 millimeters per second, but I think there's a setting that I think there's a speed setting that's just not enabled on my profile that's overriding that. So let me go kill this again. First layer actually doesn't look too bad, but if I can get that first layer looking really good, I think the rest of the layers are going to look better. No. go ahead and reslice. For the third time, because why not? All right, let's do this before I do anything else. Let's get that in the computer. All right, I'm going to type in speed settings here because I think there's something in here that's not getting accounted for. Let's go under here. I can change the travel speed of the initial layer. Let's enable that. Let's enable number of slower layers, like the first 2 or 3. Okay, speed's over there. Let's go back to you. Looks like something's on the nozzle or the side of it. Well, now there's just filament oozing out. Let's see. What else? Other settings. We got print speed, infill speed, wall speed, outer wall, inner wall, top, bottom, support infill, travel, initial layer speed, initial layer print, and initial layer travel, which we just added. You know, let's do this. Let's do the first 3 layers as slow. Initial layer speed, skirt brim speed. What? Okay. That's weird. Let's try this and see what it works. If not, then we might have to try a different model. I know small models with PETG are a little bit trickier to do, but it shouldn't be impossible. Especially if I've done PETG on this printer before. I've done this skull. The skull was done in PETG, like pretty much with no issues. So, did have a pretty flat surface to begin with, and the print is basically, it's a very easy print, so I'm not too concerned. But let's try this again. I can remove that. Let's go back to the printer. Let's see if this actually slows everything down. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's grab that. All right, let's see how this fares. Hoping for good things. Hey, old curmudgeon, welcome in. We're just trying to tweak our PETG profile at the moment with our Delta printer, printing some of the filament clips from K2 Kevin, those little triangular filament clips, to kind of dial in the profile here a little bit. And then once we get this kind of settled in, we'll be talking about our holiday project coming up. It's probably the lighting. the lighting's not the best on this. But let's see how it does. I have it pretty slow to start, but there's something in here that's overriding that initial speed. And yeah, it's still printing way faster than 20 millimeters per second. Even though it's claiming it's at 20 millimeters per second, but there's no way. That or I have to slow it down even more. Well, let's give it a few layers and see what happens. Because it's hard to tell from here. I don't know if it's just because it's such a small print and has so much little detail in it. I really don't know. Also, I realized Old Curmudgeon just redeemed a hydrate. We'll get to that in a split second. I'm glad adhesion's looking okay. It's hard to tell from here, though. Let me go look at the print. I'm gonna let this one go for a few layers, and then I'm gonna go back and look at it. Fan off for the first 2 layers. Yeah, so it is off actually on this print for the first 3, I believe. Let me see. Can you take G code and look at a Prusa slicer? I can do that. Give me 1 sec. I can pull it up. I'll just save this to my desktop real quick. I do have Notepad++, so we can open it in there. Let's go here. Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to look at, Builder's Mark, or is there... Layer 0 is right here. And it looks like... anything with an FXXX is feed rate. Okay. So here we go, 2400. Divided by 60 milliliters per second. So 5200 here. Okay, so it's... oh, that's for the skirt. Hold on. F1200's 20. Okay. Well, here we have F1200 here. Unless I bump the outer and inner wall, because the inner wall and outer wall are like 30, 35. But that shouldn't matter in the first. Like if I set the first layer for X amount of speed, it should relate to that, correct? Yeah, this does feel like the Matrix. Builder's Mark said also either Prusa slicer, so let me see if I can pull up in Prusa slicer, see if it makes it any better. I haven't had Prusa slicer open in a while, so just give me a second. I know it's not the most up-to-date Prusa slicer either, but let's see. I can open import or open. Can you open G code in First Slicer? Oh, there we go. Oh, it's own separate window. Okay, give me 1 second to do that. So where do you actually see the G code? Change the drop down the speed. Got you. Says it's at 20. Oh, there's little holes in here. That's probably not. I know these aren't completely solid infill either, so that might be part of the issue. Like that's gonna help right now, but let's just. I can't really see from there. They look a little bit better than the last ones we did, but I'll give it another couple layers or two. Yeah, so this is the speed screen, old curmudgeon. It's hard to tell because my printer camera's in the way, and so that's width, that's speed. Fan speed, I have it set to 0 for should be the first 3 or first couple layers, or at least the first layer. I think Cura has that gradual fan increase from 0 to 3, which I'll have to fix that. But if I don't have M220 S100 in my start G code, then I don't know the feed rate. I don't believe I've changed it. Let me check my starting G code. Let's get rid of that. It's not in my starting G code here, so I don't believe I've done anything with the feed rate, but I could be wrong. Let me go back to the printer and see how that's doing. These still aren't looking great. They are not looking that great, to be honest. I'm gonna kill it. All right. Let's go back to this. If you don't have M220S100 start G code, M220's feed rate, M221 is flow rate. I reset mine to start G code S100 in case I manually set it during a print and forget. All right. So do you recommend starting it? Recommend putting that in the G code? And if so, how do you actually, like, how do you type it in? I'll go back to my printers here. So where would that go in the start code? Would you put that near, like, is it after a particular, would it be after, this is for the, that's for the purge line, I believe. Before any steps that extrude. Okay. Let me look at my. Let's look at my Anycubic. Can I not manage this? Yeah, I don't even have it in here either. That's weird. Go before G28. First things first, too. Let's fix this. Okay, let's fix that. This is now just a higher. Okay, so then you go back to there. And before G28. So in this case, you would type in M220S100. Is that what that would be? And do you also need that on your NG code? Just start. Okay. I'll just try out the start. Let's see what else. I'm just gonna bump this down to 25. bump you down. Yeah, let's try this. Let's see if that helps. Oh, crap. Need to put that back in. That would help. That would help a little bit. Get the SD card in there. Been known to go from S50 to S150 during certain prints. Wouldn't be good to start print 150%. Yeah, that'd be not ideal. Would not be ideal there. Okay. All right. Attempt number 3. Let's try this out. These little red triangles over my desk. Residue, but not very much. Clean itself off. Does look a little bit slower. And it's still going really fast. I just think I think the travel is just too fast because it's going from 20 to 100 like really quick on travel movements, and I think that's part of the issue. So let me bump that 100 down to like 60. Even though I don't want any like I don't want any like, you can see there's like some stuff stuck on the nozzle, but I don't want any of that with the slower travel speed. But I think that's partially why the details aren't being fully laid out. But like, I'll let this go for a few layers again and see what it looks like, and then we can kind of go from there. Don't go above 70. Okay, hey, that's part of, okay. I'll try 60 millimeters per second travel speed for the initial layer, because initially I have the travel speed for PETG for like 100. I have it actually a little bit faster so it doesn't, you know, gunk up on the nozzle. That was the intent for that, but if that's also what's partially causing it to miss detail and not look clean, then I will definitely slow the travel speed down. You can kind of see there's a little straggler piece that kind of got stuck on the nozzle, and it's now just made its way onto one of the parts, but unfortunately I can't do much about that right now unless I start this over. Oh, print speed. Got you. Yeah, print speed, I think I have... Print speed's like... infill speed I have at 35. Wall speed I have... Outer walls at 30. Inner wall at 35. Top and bottom at 30. Travel speed 130. Infill I have 35. So yeah, nothing's above 40 really, and it's still having some issues on the detail. Adhesion's not a problem. The adhesion's been pretty good. I know it's hard to see there, but that travel speed I think is killing it. And I don't, maybe it's just the way I have this sliced, where I have a bunch of them right next to each other. I wonder if I do one clip, how well it looks, and see how that comes out. Because that could also be the problem, is I just have too many of them on the bed. And Super Racer's not making the grade. I mean, we've done PETG on this printer before. It does vary with what you're printing, you know, in terms of how fast you can print it. I expected it not to print super fast with PETG, just because it's, you know, it likes to be printed slow, and that flow rate has, with the flow rate, and because it has the volcano style nozzle on it, you know, it has to have enough room for it to flow cleanly. I kind of expected that a little bit to have more of a challenge, but the fact that I'm able to have better TPU prints right now than PETG is not great. I think that's saying a lot about this. And by the way, this still has the stock nozzle on it. It still has a stock hot end on it. Nothing's been replaced on this hot end yet. But in terms of, you know, PLA prints, this thing runs like a charm. PETG, I'm trying to get it there. TPU is okay. It could also be the PETG, you know. I also haven't ruled that out yet either. Could be moist. Everyone's favorite M word is moist. It looks a little bit better than the last time, but it's, like I said, it's hard to see from here. I know the light's not the best, but if it's not dry, your error sucks for that, then it'll give you... Yeah, I kind of figured PETG is going to be very challenging here because of, you know, just where I'm at. I could also try this on the other printer and see if it does any better, but moist filament on one machine is going to be the moist filament on another. I see some stringiness there coming off of the nozzle. Let me go look at it closer. These actually look a little bit better than the last one, so I might leave them be. They do actually look a little better this time around. I know it's hard to see with the camera, but looking up close at them, they do look... I wouldn't say they're perfect, but I would say they are better than the first two attempts we did. So maybe I will... I know there's some stuff on the nozzle, but looking actually at them, they actually do look a little bit cleaner. So... And yeah, I know PETG likes to booger up on the nozzle, as like everyone like to say. Yeah, and this is kind of why I do a lot of PLA for the most part. I'm trying to get more into PETG in terms of just using it on a daily basis, and I think this is part of the reason why I don't always use it, because it just is a little bit more complicated to deal with and a little bit more finicky. But I do appreciate how PETG, there's a little bit more you can do with PETG versus PLA. But if I can get a nice profile on this for the Super Racer, being a Delta printer, and, you know, same with, you know, my goal is to have good profiles for all my printers, but being a Delta printer, having being a little bit faster. In this case, this really isn't a fast profile. This is pretty slow, to be honest. But if I can get good profiles for PETG and TPU for both these printers, I would be a very happy man. But yes, I know, agreed, old curmudgeon. I know, I'm kind of in the same way, and I can probably guess because some filaments, not all filaments are different. Not every filament's gonna act the same, gonna print the same. I have to remind myself that a little bit. I'm sure you guys do too. But that one little straggly piece is gonna bug me. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this go. Because I think they're actually looking okay. We'll check up on them in a little bit. If I see any issues, I'll pull the plug on these. But so far, these are the nicest looking ones we've done. So I will see how they... I'll let it ride. I'll let them go. I do have a filament dryer. I haven't used it in quite some time, and that's no one's fault but my own. I need to update I need to go dry out the silica boxes, and I just haven't. I keep forgetting to do that, and I probably should make a note to do that this week, so I can get that back up and running. Although I don't have a good spot. It'll be interesting to see how I use that for the Delta printer because. The last time I used it, it's mainly... I can use it on the Mega X because I can position it kind of where the extruder's at. On here, I would have to have it sitting on top of the printer. And because it's its own stationary... because it's its own separate box, I worry that being that tall and high up with the table and stuff shaking, I worry that it would either fall over... So I have to figure that out. Maybe make like a mount for it so it doesn't move. But I do need to get that back in commission because I think that would help a little bit. And you can see now there's a lot more gunk on the nozzle, which is not good. That really irritates me, to be honest. Ugh. It's only in certain spots too. It's only in certain spots. I don't know. I might. I want to keep these going, but at the same time, I kind of just want. I kind of want to kill it because they are actually looking worse now. And to be fair, I also had a profile in here that didn't have any cooling whatsoever. But I also think that didn't make things better in some cases. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like... Fan speed's at 30%, Walker Budgeon. And that was after 4 layers of nothing. So it should be at no more than 30%. That front one looks pretty good. It's the ones in the back that don't look that great. I'm wondering if, like, infill's just still too fast. Infill's only set at 35, but I'm wondering if they think infill's too fast. My 50-15s won't spin up past or below 15%. Oh man. Yeah, so let me go back to this real quick because I can. Yeah, speeds right now, what I have set. 25 for overall, which really doesn't do much. 35 for infill. 30 for outer wall, 35 for inner wall. I honestly might make this the same. Might just make it 30 for all of them since this is so small. But 30 for top and bottom layers, 130 for travel. Initial layer is 20. Initial layer of print is 20. Initial layer of travel is 60. Initial number of slower layers I have at 3. But it's one of those weird things that I just don't know why it does that. I'll be honest, I don't know. Or it just seems like it made it worse. But the only other thing I can think of would be trying a different filament and seeing if that makes it any better. Retraction, it's gonna be. I have retraction set for 4 millimeters and then 40 millimeters per second. And then Z-hop I have set at 0.08. And the retraction distance might be a tiny bit larger because it is a volcano hot end. Or smaller. I'm not sure, I forget. Because it's a larger melt zone, I think I had to adjust that a little bit compared to my Anycubic. Did I say I've done a flow cube? I have not done a flow cube, actually. But that might be a good print to do. What do I use for PLA? PETG should be slightly more. Let's see. I go to... So I have my retraction for my PLA on here is 6.5 and then 25 millimeters per second. It's actually slower. I bumped the speeds up for PETG. And then I think I shortened the retraction for PETG, but my thinking about that was probably because I didn't want it to gunk up on the nozzle when it traveled. But I'm wondering if that might be... I'm afraid to go more because I don't also want to clog my hot end. Because 6.5 is actually a lot. Well, that's not actually not that much for PLA, but yeah. If you have the link to that flow key, let me feel free to send it here because I can take a look at it. Yeah, and these are still bone setups too, or curmudgeon. Both these have cap tube assisted extruding. Anyway, I guess while we wait for that, I guess we'll go back to this then, because I didn't want to spend all night on this, but it's taking us a little bit longer to... Now, this is not looking... oh, send a link. Take a look at that. 0 infill, 0 top, 2 walls. Let me look at that. I'll pull it up in just a second. It's taking a second to load up, old curmudgeon. Give me 1 minute. I will, while we're waiting for that to load up, I'll throw a raffle for some Bitcoin in the chat. And while we're at it, I might start a print on the other printer just to get it going. Maybe I'll try a couple of these clips on the Mega X, but in PLA. Well, I guess it wouldn't do much for me in this case. Is it just a G code, or is it supposed to be an actual like print file? Because it's not even showing up in here. Like if I go back here. So what I would do, would it be a 0.4 test because it's a 0.4 nozzle, I'm assuming? Get the one for your nozzle. Okay, so 0.4 would be for the... Oh, I'll download the 0.4 and I'll download the 0.6 because I have a 0.6 on the Mega X. Did it download? It's not even... Hold on, let's do this. I'm gonna copy the link. I'm gonna copy this and open it in a new browser here. Alright, let's download the 0.4 and the 0.6. Let us delete this for now. Oh, this would be a good test on my Mega X to run too, actually. Let's do the 0.6. Or no, let's just do the 0.4 since we have this up right now. Okay, so it's just a... So it is just basically an open cube. And like you said, it would be... you said... 0 infill, 0 top 2 walls. So 0 infill, 0 top, and 2 walls. Does it matter how many bottom layers? Or no? Oh, and I'm on my wrong profile here. 2 walls, 0 top. Depends on your adhesion. I have decent adhesion, so we'll keep it at 3. And 0 infill. So it should take like 9 minutes, in theory. And then with this flow test, you're supposed to measure the thickness of the wall. Is that what I'm getting at? it's just bed adhesion, maybe use some glue. It's actually, so adhesion's not the problem here. The adhesion's not the problem. It's the, I think it's a combination of the retraction, cooling, and speed. I think it's a combination of those three things. Adhesion right now has not been a problem. Everything seems to be like sticking. Now you might see there's like little bits of like gunked areas all over the bed, but nothing is pulled off of the bed. Okay. So let me see. Actually, you know what? These still aren't looking terrible. They look worse on the camera right now, but looking at them from the top, they look okay. They're not the cleanest print, but it's actually okay for now. I don't know. They look okay. They don't look great. That they look okay. But we can try this flow test on the Anycubic with some PETG. I have some Polymaker blue PETG here that hasn't been opened yet. So we can maybe try this on the Anycubic. And I have that printer heated up too, so that shouldn't be a problem. So this one I gotta get rid of because I don't have a 0.6 nozzle. I'm sorry, a 0.4. Do the 0.6 test. We'll do 2 walls, 0.2, 0 top, 3 bottom, 0 infill. That. I'm gonna keep these speeds the same because I haven't touched this profile. See how that goes. You want 0.8 average, measuring 2 points per side, measured down no more than the top third of the wall. I just realized, am I going to be able to measure? I don't believe I replaced the battery in this thing. My caliper still don't have a battery, and I completely forgot about that. We might have to. This might be a Thursday thing because I need to find a battery for this thing. I don't think I have a spare. So great planning on my part tonight. Such great planning. But we could start another test. We could do another test print. We could do this in, well, that's the thing. I just don't have anything to measure this by. Other than standard ruler, I guess. Yeah, this battery is pretty dead. So I need to. It's an LR 44 old curmudgeon. So that's easy to see. But yeah, it's just one. It's one of these little standard coin batteries that I'll have to look and see if I have any more. I don't believe I do. I don't usually keep those stock around the house, which now that I mentioned that, I probably should. For this, all those little tea lights that I had, those little circular tea lights that I used for the that I was testing, playing around with the wedding light box things, that the lithophanes, those use coin batteries as well. I don't know if they're the same size. Those might be a little bit different. I forget the size of those, to be honest, but yeah, I need to go look and get a few of those, because especially with the calipers. And if I can't find any by Thursday, worst case, I can take the calipers I use at work home for tonight and use those to test it out, to make sure they measure all right. But that would be something I'd like to do, because at least get this profile kind of dialed in. I would like to see, what else I can do on this. And as you can see, it looks more of a mess than it actually looks. I know the lighting's not the best. It looks like a pile of plastic over there, but like I said, looking from the top down, they didn't look too bad, so I'm gonna let them go. But either way, I do want to. I kind of do want to test something on the Mega X tonight. I did get the hot end tightened down as best as I could, builder's mark on that. I tightened down the nozzle. I did tighten the heater block a little bit better from then when I talked to you from Friday. So I do want to run a test print on that, and I do want to run it with some new filament that I have here. Let me go grab that in a second. Sorry, I'm like kind of staring at this print right now, looking at it kind of in detail and trying to depict what it's doing. And it's kind of like when you stare at a painting at an art museum and you're trying to depict, like, what is this trying to tell? What is this trying to portray? Is this trying to portray war, peace? Trying to predict the socioeconomic status of our 19th century, stuff like that. Just been I'm trying to figure out how, on a scale of 1 to spaghetti, how borked this thing is. Main tests I run are flow, retraction, pressure advance, ladder pressure apply to you. I don't run Clipper, so I don't know if pressure advance really does apply to me. Retraction, I don't really run retraction tests, because up until last year I didn't have any issues with retraction. I found a number I liked and worked really well with these printers. Retraction, I guess, for PETG is a little bit different. I mean, for PLA, I have retraction on here is not bad. Using the stock profile from Cura, that retraction setting has been read, and then basically doing a trial and error version on the Anycubic printer, getting that right, and I haven't touched it since. But well, I guess I shouldn't say haven't touched it since, but for the most part, it's been pretty decent retraction, I should say. Linear advances Marlin. Oh, okay, my bad. Is it pressure advance that's Clipper? I know there's like some thing called that similar to that, but everyone's been in Clipper this, Clipper that lately, so my lingo in Marlin versus Clipper these days has not been, I haven't been able to keep up on which is which. As all the young hip kids are doing. Pressure is Clipper. Gotcha. Let me take a look at this. I want to see this up close. going on though.
Who are you people?
Let's get something going on the Mega X with some new filament. I really want to try this since I got it last week. Be right back. No worries, old curmudgeon, no worries. So let me pull it up here because I have it up. Also, I haven't put my headphones on in quite some time, so let me put my headset back on. So I did last week. We got some new filament in. I saw this was out a couple weeks ago, and I really wanted to try it out. This is the Firefly Blue PLA from Cap Tubes. And you can see it's kind of like a clearish white color, but apparently it's basically a glow-in-the-dark filament that has some metallic blue glow-in-the-dark features to this. And this will be a great filament to try out with the hardened nozzle on the Mega X because it's glow-in-the-dark filament. So I figured we can maybe try this tonight with a test print or two. Not a benchy, because like I said, it's no benchy November. So I can't print a benchy with this to test it out. But I want to print some sort of test print to make sure, and to kind of make sure the nozzle is tightened back down and good to go. Because I haven't been able to print much with the Mega X in the last couple weeks. But I do have the printer heated up for PLA, which actually reminds me, I probably need to set that to like 220 for metallic filament. But I do want to set up a print. I might do the flow test a little bit later, at a point where I can measure it. So maybe we can do a K2 clip on here and see how well these do. We can try the K2 clips on here as well. I would like to print a few of these K2 clips. I know it's not PETG, but it's gives us something to try out. Let's do only a few. Let's do like, let's not do too many. Let's just do like 8. This is not our PETG profile. We want our PLA Pro 2. Yeah. So we want, let's start initial for this 220. And then let's do 215 for the less. And these are going to be in 0.2. I don't want them going too thick. I'll keep my speeds okay. Let's just do 1. Travel. Yeah. Okay. I would think these shouldn't take long. What are those for again? So these are for filament rolls. So if I go back to the, so these are for your filaments, or for your spools. So if I go, so what you do is you actually wrap the filament around the center, and then you also then clip it on the top here. You actually keep this on while you're printing, and the filament should run through that center hole. And that way you have the... I could be wrong on that, but I believe you're supposed to you keep them on while you're printing. That's what they're supposed to look like when it's all said and done. I think you run the filament through the middle section. I don't think you clamp it down tight. I think it's just kind of on there so it's not, you don't lose it. But you actually wrap the spool around the center once, and then you can clip it through the top. Or on the other sides, I guess. Like I said, I have to
Maybe they're not. Maybe you don't put them on the spool. I think maybe like here you can keep it on this, so it's. Yeah, I don't see it being active on the spool while you're actually printing, but like here just makes sense, kind of. So maybe it's just a way for it to not, you don't have to take it off manually when you print. These are my first time printing these, so I'm still trying to understand this as well. I know a bunch of people have been printing these lately. And I really should ask K2 Kevin in the MakerDeck chat when I see him. But I think it's just a way for it to stay on without losing it. So that way, when you're done with the spool, you can wrap it up again really quickly. But I did want to print a few of these last month. I just hadn't at the time. So that is what we're going to do with this. Well, that's what we've been doing tonight with the other printer. And since we're on this subject, and I want to try some of this new material that we got and test out to make sure the hot end on the Mega X is now back in place and good to go. This should be a not terrible print for this. But I do have to put the SD card in the printer though. Just gotta find my SD card reader. And yes, I still plan on talking about our holiday project. There's still a little bit of time left in the stream for that. I had not forgotten about that. And I already have the printer heated up, so should be good to go there. Let me just double check these settings real quick. I also bought this filament too because I know for the holidays and stuff are coming up. I have some ideas for this filament to use for said holiday prints. We're going to be getting into holiday prints in the next 2 months here for our projects and for just printing some fun stuff. And like I said, I'll explain once hopefully we get this on the printer and printing okay. We can talk about that, but because I have plans for this next 2 months. Be right back, pupper let out. No worries, Billers Mark. No worries. No worries at all. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's save that. It's only a 53-minute print. Got that. You guys want some filament ASMR? I know you guys do. That was the highlight of the entire night, to be honest. Let's be honest. Ooh. Okay. It's actually a lightweight plastic. Not too bad. You can see the metallic in here. Kind of looks like a very a light champagne, like bronze color. This will be interesting to see how it glows. Let's get it up and running. Let's get on the printer. I don't have a print camera on that printer, but I might move the camera from the other printer. So, see you over there. Get that going. in a second. Just give me one moment. You in. Load out. I've just left on your grace pool to make a few. Nice. What's the link to that? Oh, here, let me post the link to those in chat. There you go. All right, let's get that off. Looks good. Gotta find more light. Might have to add some spools over here. A little more. I had to move my makeshift like stand the other day. And this isn't ideal, but all right, let's start this next print.
So far, these are printing okay on here. So far, they're printing okay. I'll try and get some more light over here so you guys can see. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so far they look okay. I do need to fix. I do need better lighting over here. I know it's. I've been complaining about it for years, and I still don't have a good solution for that. Check out my channel banner on YouTube for lighting idea. You might not have 40 extrusion though. I definitely don't have extrusion, but I definitely check that out because I do need to get some better lighting back here. Actually, let me just try. Just try turning the light on. If that helps. It might. So, let's see. So you can kind of see them. Very blurry though. That's literally sitting on the bed, by the way. There you go. Contrast and exposure thing, I think. Gotcha. Yeah, I know the lighting in here's never been great. Like never. And I don't have and I need to there's a new Bill Ersmark sent me a new there's a new design he found for a like a flashlight mount that might work better than the other one I had. Because the other one I had worked for like a little bit and then it stopped working and it wasn't ideal. But I also need a better camera location as well. I could probably, if I had the, I probably could. I still have a port on that power, the power supply that's for the janitor loose back there. I have two openings. I could probably run, if I could wire it up to like a set of LED lights and wire it up to the printer. I could probably run some LED lights around the aluminum. In theory, I don't know if that would actually be safe, but the clips are printing, by the way. So we'll wait and see how those are doing. I don't know how I kind of left the other ones out. I also need a third camera. That's the other thing too. I need to get a camera that's just for this printer. I need a camera for that printer.
it's not fun sharing one camera for everything, which is unfortunate because I would like to. I need better cameras in general. I know there's a lot on my stream setup that it's not the greatest quality, but I make work what I have, and I'll leave it at that. But looks like that's kind of. Let me try to fix the. We'll let those go. We will let those go. But yeah, chat, if you guys are interested in those clips, they are here on Printables. Like I said, they're from our good friend K2 Kevin. You might have seen him. You might be seeing him on Maker Deck. He comes by every so often here on the channel. He does a lot of other cool prints as well. I am following him, so I'll do that. Speaking of Printables, chat, let me just kind of segue off into that. So now we do have our models here for all of our, all the stuff we've done in October. We have our spooky printed tombstones are available here now on Printables for you guys to download and print, as well as our drink coaster, our Bev E-Rage, our Tombstone Beverage coaster as well. And as of last week, our 3D printer wall nozzle is also here. I need to find a better picture because this one kind of cropped out itself, but this is also available now on Printables for you guys to download the files. I think the back plate, the front cover, the back plate, and those clips for the tubing are all available here. So, and Old Curmudgeon, I did see your comment. Thank you very much, good sir. Yeah, feel free, guys, if you haven't yet done so, check those out. If you guys want to print them. I'm trying to download and add more stuff to Printables as we keep doing stuff here. So hopefully this will be the platform I post most of the stuff on. I did have a thanks page at one point in time, but I don't now. But we will. I still do have it. I just don't post anything to there anymore. That's okay. Whoops. There we go. So, see if my camera fixed itself. I don't think it did. I kind of did. It zoomed in on the extrusion, but not on the print itself. If I can fix the lighting, I might be able to. I just need a camera that doesn't auto expose so drastically. Like, that's my problem. My problem is I hate the exposure on this thing. But it looks like let's see if I can get this to. So you guys can see them, they are printing. Looks like they're not extruding though. Doesn't look like it's extruding. I think we're now it's extruding again, but I think it missed a layer or two. Yep, it did. Why? Alright, well I'm going to start that again. Not sure why these clips are just becoming so difficult to make my life today. Like they started off really well, and then it looked like something got caught in the filament that stopped extruding. It's weird. All right, let's try this again. Try this one more time. Change the extruder. Yeah, it's not extruding, and I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. Well, I gotta figure out why it's not extruding the filament. I don't know if it's a filament issue or if it's... I had no issues with extruding before. I think it might be the filament, because it's... I don't know. It's so weird. That's so weird. That's so strange. Maybe you should go back to a brass nozzle in that. Would a brass nozzle be worse for this glow-in-the-dark filament? Also, because it's glittery as well. No, I don't think it's a nozzle at this point. I think the filament has... It's just... There's certain... I think the filament roll just... isn't hitting the gear, or if it's having issues. I think I tried. It started off really well, and then just stopped extruding. Like it just stopped feeding. And I just tried playing around with the knob a little bit, and nothing. So I'm wondering if the filament is just a trickier filament to dial in on that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with that too now, because let's try that one more time, because let's see if I can get that to... I'd like to get that to print, but I'm not sure why it's not. Being a little difficult right now. gonna just manually feed filament through it right now. Let's heat the bed up as well. Maybe I have to bump the temperature up. Maybe that'll do it. Was that 220? Maybe I need to bump it up more. Let's go back to my slicer. Let's go back to the slicer. Let's bump up the temperature just a touch. Let's just print at 220 for the whole thing. Let's do 220. Let's start this at 225. And then we'll do 220 for the rest of it. Nine clips, 1 hour ETA, we shall see. Yeah, these are pretty quick to print. They aren't too bad. Grab that. View down. Okay. Let's reslice this and get this back up and running. Whoops. Back to that. Okay, let's save. Let's run filament through and see if it even purges. I can manually push it. I can manually like force it and it comes out pretty easily. But I'm wondering if it's the weight of the spool and it's just causing it to... There we go. A little better. Okay, so the tensioner knob is a little bit tighter. It just needs to grip it better. I don't know. Alright, now it's going through. So maybe, and it set, when I extrude that, it sets it at 230. So I'm going to set this at 225 to start. I think maybe the hotter temperature has a little bit to do with that. Our other K2 clips, by the way, are almost done. There's about 20 minutes left in that print. Let's get this out of the way. So let's print these. Got it on my list of on my file here. There we go. There we go. Good news is I don't see any leaking from the hot end, so that's a good sign. Hey there, Zim Colo. I apologize if I just botched your name. I am loving my Super Racer. It is awesome. I think it's an amazing printer.
At the moment, I'm trying to dial in my PETG profile for it. We're printing some filament clips at the moment. It's been having a little bit of trouble. But other than that, the Super Racer's been a fantastic printer. It's been awesome. Along with my Anycubic here that we're printing with as well. It's been a great addition. But welcome in. Hope you're doing well. I see you're a first-time chatter. Welcome to our community. Hope you're doing well. Let's check to see if those are going to stick. Is it purging filament? Kind of. It's very little. Alright, it is going. I think it's still under extruding in some spots, but I'm going to let it do the first layer and see. I'm hoping my retraction is not too high, but I don't think it should. But it is it is extruding filament now. I can see the roll moving, and I can see it feeding through. So let's see how that plays out. Right on the cusp of pulling the trigger for it. Awesome. I also, if you haven't yet, I made a YouTube video about the Super Racer on my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet done so, definitely go take a look at that. Let's see if I can find the link to it. Or if you just find my YouTube channel, there is a video about the Super Racer, what I like, what I didn't particularly care for at the beginning. But it's a good video. It explains the printer itself. I did a lot of test printing with it. It is a very good printer overall. There's a couple flaws with it. Like any 3D printer, there's a few things that are a little bit quirky about it. But for what it can do and the speed it can print at, it churns out PLA really easily. I'm still trying to dial in PETG and TPU for it, but I've been really liking it. It's been great. We've been able to print a lot with it so far, including the nozzle on the back. We printed one of those. We were able to print that vertically on the Delta printer. Which I believe our winner, Manor Mutant, I finally was able to ship off Manor Mutant his wall nozzle prize from the anniversary stream last week. So we finally got that. And I believe all the other anniversary stream winners have been, I think everybody's gotten their prize already for that. So for anyone out there that hasn't, let me know, but I believe I got everybody. Need to run a new PID Moonraker, wobbles a bit more in Octo Clipper. Ooh. Yeah, PID tuning is not always the most fun, but sometimes necessary. It's actually, I watched what was it? Brian Vines' video on PID tuning, and that's what I used to do, and it's actually pretty straightforward if you do it that way, but yeah, sometimes you got to kind of do it over time. You have to do it again. At least I've had to do it over time. Not to be specific at all. No, the text may not try tone, but your Super Racer video is how I found your Twitch channel. Oh, cool! Very cool. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I know a lot of people. There haven't been too many people from the YouTube community that came over to Twitch that have come over to Twitch yet. So that's awesome to hear, and thank you for coming on over. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do a little bit more content for the Super Racer down the road. I know I've been using it a lot in videos and stuff like that, but actually I do want to focus on some other stuff about the Super Racer as well, like I have done for the Mega X series of videos I've done. But
my problem right now at YouTube has just been I've been just busy with other things. I'm just trying to have stuff on the channel, and I just need the time to sit down and edit. And I'm gonna try to get a little bit more content out soon, or sooner, I should say. I have also been doing a lot more of the YouTube Shorts just because it kind of just changes things up, and the short form content's a little bit easier to do than the long term, but yeah, that's awesome though. Thank you so much for coming over. Our live streams here, if you're not familiar, we're a lot less formal than the YouTube videos, if you haven't noticed already. Very much laid back here. We just kind of hang out, print stuff, sometimes work on different projects. We are going to be working on a project coming up here next month. We're going to be building a version 2.0 of our 3D printed gingerbread house, which I haven't even talked about yet tonight because I've been so distracted with getting everything dialed in about these printers that I just haven't had a time to discuss anything yet. So I won't go into too much detail right now because it's kind of getting late and I'm kind of semi-defeated with the printers right now. But we are going to be working on printing a 2.0 version of our gingerbread house. Let me see if I can go grab that real quick. I still have the other one. So grab it. Go. So for those that were here a year ago, or about 2 years, or no, a year ago, we made this 3D printed gingerbread house last year for the holidays. We made all the base pieces. And I think this is Polymaker Polyterra. And then we also came up with these gumdrop these little designs for these little gumdrops here. We did in various colors. And then we took we have a 3D pen and made the piping effect across the walls, the roof, the front of the house. We also have a roof here. So yeah, this year my plan is to make version 2.0 even better. And we actually had some mishaps with this design. There's a couple of spots. Some of the pieces are like overhanged. You can kind of see these two side walls here and here are actually too long. You can kind of see how they overshoot right here. It's like extends way past where it's supposed to go. I made them a little too big, but we made it work because we kind of hid that with the gumdrops around the walls. This came out really nice for what it is. I think this year we're gonna I want to do a bigger house. Maybe make it like a mansion type house, so it's like a main house and then you have the side house next to it. I'm not an architect, but I'd like to make multiple houses to kind of put together, make it like a mega mansion almost. And then I was also thinking of maybe doing something. I don't know what, but maybe doing something with some of my leftover LEDs. Maybe add some lights to this thing, or maybe add some just lighting effects to like a display. So have this sit in maybe like a yard, or not like a yard, but make like a model yard. This sits in the place, and you can maybe put some lighting on the ground, give it a nice effect. I don't know. That's like I said, we're just starting talking about this today. My plan is to work on this for the next 2 months. My goal is for November to be more of the design and planning phase, and December to be the printing phase and putting it together phase. Because what I'd like to do, I didn't do this last year, but I would like to do it this year, is that I would like to make a kit to post on like Printables or Thingiverse or wherever, and basically make it available to you guys so you can make your own gingerbread house kit, so you can print all the parts, build one of these yourself. But at the same time, I also want to make a bigger one that's bigger than this bad boy.
Maybe add to the village. You know how you can get those little ceramic villager people, and you can get the little houses and make your little collection and all that. Maybe add to this. This was almost destroyed, by the way, in the 2-year anniversary stream. I'm actually kind of glad you guys didn't hit that sub goal to destroy this bad boy, because this added a little bit of work to it. I think the longest part for me was getting the 3D pen etching and the effects there. It looks a little dirty. I did have a little bit of glue on this thing to glue up all the parts. You can see the bases, and it's all hollow inside too. You can kind of hear it. But then I took the 3D pen. I basically glued on all the gumdrops up top. I printed all the various colors. The gumdrops, I printed those in fuzzy mode, fuzzy skin mode, so they have that like rough texture to them. But yeah, the goal of this was to make it look like a homemade gingerbread house, which I think we did accomplish there. But I do want to make a 2.0 version. I think after doing this one, we can learn a lot from this, and my goal is to make a nicer version of this. So we're going to be starting the planning phase of this and the design planning phase of this this month. So in the this month's worth of streams, we're going to be probably in the process of brainstorming, modeling, looking at pictures and stuff like that for inspiration, stuff like that we'll be doing down the streams. Tonight's printing of those clips is more or less just a secondary thing for me to dial in my PETG settings and to get some new filament going, because I want to use that filament, that sparkly glow-in-the-dark blue filament with the gingerbread house. I was thinking about how that could be easily used, and I also want to do more 3D printed parts this year. So like more 3D printed stuff that go on the house. So like maybe instead of like having all of these everywhere, these little gumdrops, use that like filament to make like little fake strands of light that you can kind of glue on to where you want them to. And then in theory, if they do glow in the dark the way they're supposed to, that'd look cool at night. It'd look like the house is lit up and has like lights on the house, like actual lights on the house. On top of maybe doing some actual LED effects, if I can do that. I do have a leftover. I have a leftover ESP8266. I have some leftover LEDs. I would need a new power supply, but maybe running some LEDs or something, just a small amount of LEDs, maybe through like Windows or I don't know, but something, maybe do something. But again, that's part of the ideas and the planning that I want to do here this month. And then my goal is to get the design of it done by the end of the month. I don't know how, we might have to roll into December with this, but I don't want to take too long, so there's really not that much time from now till the end of the year. If I think about it, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not counting Thanksgiving, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, probably only 13 streams left until the end of the year. Because right now, the way I'm looking at my schedule with the holidays, I'm going to be out of town the last week of the year. I'm going to be going home. So the last stream for the year will be on the 20th of December. So that's when we want to have it all said and done at the latest. So that's a long time away, but it's really not that long time away. Take a floor plan, house site, and extrude it. I might do that. I might looking at like architecture plans and making like a rough floor plan from there. Have a great rest of the stream. I got a bullet. No worries, old curmudgeon. No worries. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I greatly appreciate that. We're going to probably be wrapping up here. We're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes because it's already 10:30. But yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan, is to start coming up with a layout, start coming up with a design, maybe think about what I want to do differently. I'm gonna keep the gumdrop design that I had last year. I'm gonna keep those because I think those worked out well. There were some things on this initial house that I wish I would have designed it a little bit better, but we're gonna design this whole thing from scratch. We're gonna make sure The way we're going to try to do it in Fusion 360, we'll make sure all the parts are actually in place where they're supposed to be. And make sure they're the right size. Because I think there's a couple pieces here that are a little bit too big. But like I said, we were able to cover them up with the lights here. But it'll be cool to actually integrate some LEDs in this thing or something into a bigger house. I don't know if it wants to be multiple houses or like, you know, add a, like say for the example here, add a garage, add a secondary building to it. All things that we can kind of think about and come up with. Maybe make it a little bit cleaner detail this year. Maybe make it more, maybe focus away from the homemade side of it and maybe look at it more professionally looking. I don't know. But those are the things we're going to be thinking about for the next couple months until the end of the year. Because then at the beginning of next year, we're going to kind of start diving into the Death Racer. We're going to be going into that Death Racer build at the beginning of next year, starting to print the parts for that. Start trying to figure out the electronic side of things over there. Start trying to figure out if I can get a soldering kit and figure out how to solder. Maybe I'll ask Santa for a soldering kit for Christmas. Did I ever hydrate? I did not hydrate, Old Curmudgeon, and I apologize for not hydrating this entire stream. But I will hydrate right now for you since you are leaving. But thank you, Old Curmudgeon. If you got a beverage, chat, raise them high, raise them proud. Cheers to you, Old Curmudgeon. Thank you for all your help tonight, too, with the slicing and the G-code tonight. Greatly appreciate that. And I hope you have a great rest of your night as well. There we go. Real quick, let's check on the printer. I think it is extruding. It looked like they are extruding, which is good. And these clips are actually looking pretty decent on here. And the other printer clips are actually about done. There's a couple more minutes on these as well. And once those are done, I'll pull those off of the Super Racer. Those got a couple more minutes. But you guys can see those are printing fairly well. And I'd like to see how these actually look in the dark. So we might turn the lights back off and get some glow in the darkness. And try to salvage what this stream has been able to do tonight and just defeat me. And it looks like the Super Racer just finished up. Like, just finished up. But I'll give those a second to cool down. We'll pop them off the plate. We'll take a look at them before we head out. I might try to find another print, too, for the Mega X, just to test out that filament with a bigger print than the clips. However, I don't want to waste too much of it right now, because like I said, I want to use it for the gingerbread house. I do want to use it for some of the holiday stuff I had planned. I do have planning on printing just like random holiday stuff too in December. You know, like we did for Halloween, I do want to print some random Halloween prints from different designers and stuff like that. I want to continue that for December. I contemplated, you know, I was thinking about doing stuff for the Toys for Tots campaign. I don't know if I'm going to, just because I don't know the bandwidth required is going to be a challenge for me. Getting the number of printers and getting the stuff like that. And with everything else I have going on, I don't know if I have the time commitment to do that too. But I'm going to try to maybe help out with that if I can. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Let's start a raffle. I know there's only a few of you here, and I greatly appreciate for those that stuck around tonight. I thank you. I know there's some other people on tonight, so it is Tuesdays are a popular night, so I'm not too concerned about that. But for those that are here, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Let's see. Let's see.
Got the flow test. I did print that out, or I did download that, so we should be good. I can get out of there. I can get out of G-code viewer. I can get out of there. There we go. All right, let's go back to the printer, because I apologize if this has been a rather uneventful stream. I was trying to think of stuff to do tonight, and wasn't it like as usual? I don't expect all this stuff to happen with my printers, so I apologize if it's been boring tonight, but I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate hanging out with you guys. It's fun to watch the printers print, regardless of what's going on, regardless if it fails. But speaking of stuff, guess we'll catch up on that. Those are looking good though so far. I took a closer look. Those have been printing okay. I got the filament extruded again. I think the higher temperature on that actually helps. So right now those should be printing around 220. And we'll see those in a little bit. Anyway, like I said before, if you guys haven't yet done so, check out my printables profile page. All the newest files are there that we've been working on stream are there for you guys to be able to print. All of our drink coasters, all of our tombstones, our nozzle, all there on printables. If you guys haven't yet done so, check it out. I need to make a command for that, but I'll do that later. Also reminding everybody as well, for those that are here in our Twitch community, we also are on YouTube. If you guys haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, now would be a great time to do so. We are at 960, I think 960 is where we're at right now on subscribers. So we're only 40 away from 1,000, which is huge. It's a huge milestone for us here. So if you haven't yet done so, if you haven't, please go check out the channel. Go watch a video or two. Be greatly appreciated. And then as well as there, we also are on Twitter, at PETG on Twitter, and then on Discord as well. We have a Discord community here. Link is below in the chat. If you guys haven't yet joined, feel free to do so. There we go. All right, let me go check on the other prints. Let me go pull off the build plate, and let's see if we can get those and take a look at them. All right, so that's at 60 still. Still a little warm. He's made a mess over here. He's made a mess. Let's see. Alright, one's on. I don't want to fling these off the bed either. So I will say some of these do look better than others, not gonna lie. Yeah. Hey BC, welcome in. You're just in time
we're taking off, we just took off some K2 clips off of the FLSun Super Racer. And these were printed. These aren't the cleanest prints, but they are decent. These were printed in IC3D red, recycled red PETG. We're trying to tune our PETG profile here on the Super Racer. It's not perfect. There's still a little bit of, there's a little stragglers. It's not the cleanest top layer either, if I can hold that up there. Not the cleanest top layer, but decent. Not as bad as I thought. Not as bad as I thought. But anyway, big shout out to BC 2 3D, another fantastic 3D printer in our community. If you haven't done so, please go give them a follow. Whoops, there we go. Third time's a charm. There we go. Oh, Lumia Stream's giving a shout out as well. That's different. I don't know if I have the Lumia Stream on here. It's Royal Nomi pretending to be BC. Oh, no worries, Royal Nomi. Welcome on in. Yeah, we're like I said, we just pulled off these K2 clips off of the Super Racer with some IC3D red PETG. And Chad, these actually don't look too bad. They're okay. They're not the cleanest, but they do look, for what we need them for. Some of them look better than others. This one looks okay. There's some little stragglies around here, but they're passable. They should still work for filament clips. This red color is really sharp. I will be honest. I love this. It's like an icy translucent red. It's like a really glossy red. These aren't bad. I mean, the profile could be tweaked a little bit, but all in all, it's a good first step in getting a good profile for this machine for PETG. We've had some good prints with PETG in the past, and then we've had some that aren't as good. Although I realized here, well, these look thinner, but I guess I'm wrong. But yeah, I think small details and stuff, small details for PETG aren't as clean as bigger prints. But you know, everything printed where it's supposed to print. And right there you can see it's still has holes for the filament to go through. I don't know if it's gonna fit the filament, but we'll have to try them out. We are also printing more of those K2 clips. We're actually printing them in a new roll of film, and I got a roll of the cap tubes, the glow-in-the-dark blue, that sparkly blue. Partially in because of you, because I know you posted about it was live on their website, and I saw that post, and I went and got myself a roll, and I'm testing out this filament with some K2 clips as well. But we're also going to be using this for some holiday prints. And for our holiday, big holiday project we're going to be doing in the next couple months here. We're going to be working on coming up with a version 2.0 of our 3D printed gingerbread house. This was last year's model we came up with and printed and put together and glued and iced or decorated. Yes, the Firefly blue from Cap Tubes. That is what's printing right now on the Mega X. Also testing out the newer hot end, the V6 hot end I have just recently installed and got tightened up again. It was leaking filament, so I got that fixed up and good to go. But yeah, this is what we're gonna be working on for the next 2 months. The 2.0 version, I call it. We're gonna make one bigger, better than this one here, but this is gonna be working on for the next couple months. We just started talking about it not too long ago, but like I said earlier in the stream, we're gonna be kind of focusing on planning, designing this month, in the month of November, and in December we're gonna focus on getting everything printed and put together.
So we'll have a, hopefully by the end of the year, by our last stream in December, before I go on a, because I usually take the last couple weeks off around the holidays for, because I travel and visit family and stuff. So by our last stream in December, like our last, I guess our Christmas stream or our last stream of the year, we will have a new gingerbread house to show off. And my goal is to have a kit where I'll post all the files to printables, and you guys can print your own kit to make at home and with the friends, with the family, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this last project was super fun. Last year's project was fun. I did a YouTube short on it. We made a little Christmas poem for it. Our YouTube short. Yep. I'll have to post a link to that, but it's on. If you guys are on my YouTube channel, if you guys have subscribed, if you go through our shorts, the list of shorts, there is one that we made for the gingerbread house when we made that. So maybe we do another one of those. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to this. I knew we were going to do something like this for a while. I wanted to make a bigger and better version of it because I think we can do better. But on that note, I'm going to probably wrap up for tonight because it is kind of late for my end. We've been going for almost 3 hours now. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming on by tonight. I greatly appreciate you guys stopping in, saying hi, chatting with me as we try to get our 3D printers up and running. I know we had some issues with the Super Racer and the PETG profile earlier. We're trying to kind of start prints over a couple times. We had some issues trying to get that filament to extrude pretty well. We had to bump up the temperature a little bit. But we're solving problems on the stream. We're playing around with the printers, getting things going. And that's what Tuesday nights are kind of about. Just kind of 3D printing, hanging out with you guys, and just being awesome. But we'll be back on Thursday. We'll be back this Thursday around 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be continuing more of the same. We'll be doing some more test printing. We'll be doing some more tweaking. We'll hopefully dive into more of the gingerbread house project a little bit more than we did tonight. I know it was kind of an afterthought tonight because of the trying to get the stuff on the printers dialed in. But we'll try to get a little bit more of that, talking about that more and start thinking of some designs and stuff like that on Thursday. And then on Thursday, we'll also continue our community marble racing nights. I know you guys have been enjoying those the last couple weeks. So Thursday, we'll have our community marble racing night, the second half of stream. We will engage in some fun, competitive marble racing with the community. So stay tuned for that. Come by Thursday for that. That's a fun time. You do not want to miss that. And we'll continue awesome 3D printing. We'll continue the project builds. And we'll just continue being awesome because that's what we like to do here on the channel. I'm going to throw one more raffle your guys' way for some Bitcoin while I figure out who we're going to go raid tonight. Tuesday nights I know are very, very saturated with so many awesome people here. So let's go and figure out who we are going to raid. If you guys can stick around for the raid, that would be very much appreciated. Let's see, who do we got tonight? I know Loyal is on tonight. He's doing a special Tuesday stream. We don't usually get to raid Loyal Moses, so that might be a possibility. Who else? Who else could we do? Sith Lord Brit is on. AZ Pinoy is also on. Chris Perello is on. Panfrenudo is on. Zombie Hedgehog is on. The Mitch is on. He's breaking Christmas print. Yeah, let's go. I know it's not a huge group of us tonight, but let's go over to Loyal because we don't get to raid him on Tuesdays because he usually doesn't stream Tuesdays. So let's go right over to his community. I know if most of you guys are already following Loyal, but for those that aren't, please go give him a follow. He's a great member of our 3D printing community. Another fantastic person and streamer here on Twitch. So that would be very much deserved. And let's go see what he's working on. Let's get the raid set up. Give me 1 second, chat. There we go. Stand by for the raid. All right. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out tonight. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I'll catch you guys on Thursday for more 3D printing, 3D modeling, and marble racing on Thursday. But until then, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. I'll catch you guys again Thursday. I'll see you real soon. And until next time, keep doing it big.
Or detail to make it actually come across as looking more like the moon. Oh, something's happening. Oh boy. Eerie Man, you just 333 bits, Eerie Man, and you just kicked off a hype train. So let me talk about that moon for a moment before we deal with the hype train. A few more craters, and